Oh my God, have you guys ever had a house centipede? I had one in a place I used to live a long time ago. They have 2 health bars. I'm not joking. This thing got from one end of a room to the other end of a room. And this was like a kitchen / living room. It was a really long rectangle in like 2 seconds. This thing ran so fast. I have never seen a bug that runs, not a flying one, move that quickly other than that centipede. So this thing runs across the room. I'm like, holy shit. My cat meowed at it. Wolfie's so good at finding bugs. He's so good at it. He never kills them though, because he's like a little about it. He just meows at them until I kill him, but he thinks they're fun. So he was like, oh my God, there's a thing. And I'm like, what? And I walk into the room and I see it go from one end of the room where he was to the other. I see how quickly his head moves. And I'm like, no way it moved that far. I just see it on the other side of the room. I was like, there's no way. There's no way it just went that fast. So I've run it down only because it stopped. I didn't run it down while it was running away from me, only because it stopped for a second. It runs up on the wall. I was like, holy shit. It stops again. I got like a big boot, you know? I was like, I'm gonna need something huge to kill this thing. I hit that thing like as hard as I can and I follow through, okay? Not when you punch and you hold back, you push as if you're trying to, like when you punch somebody, you're trying to punch behind them. You know what I mean? Trying to go through them. That's how I hit this thing. I was like, this thing looks meaty. I need to make sure I kill it because bits of it are going to keep moving and you know? So I hit this as hard as I can. He explodes. I pick up the boot. It's exploded. It keeps going. It just keeps running around. I had to throw the boot at it to get it again, knock it down, then go pick up the boot and hit it multiple times again until it died. It just wouldn't die. And I was like, how many health bars does this house centipede have? This thing was so, oh my God. Yeah, he parried me. I was like, what the is happening? This thing was terrible. Anyway, if you ever get a house centipede, consider trapping it if you're able to. And like, if you want to kill it, try to kill it outside or something because it might run away from you and hide somewhere and it's still in your house. Oh man, that thing was crazy. Playing whack-a-mole, it's playing Sekiro. Yeah, that's how it felt, man. Oh, I was trying. I mean, we did eventually get him to be dead, and it was so hard because like Wolfie was trying to help, you know? He was like, me too, but he was also a little about it. So he'd like run up and be like, oh, it's fun, and then it would move fast, and he'd like get stun locked because he wasn't sure what to do. And so I was like, I was working against him because I was trying to get Wolfie to back up. You know, he kept like trying it, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna hit you with the shoe on accident, and then I feel so bad. Like you'll probably get hurt more than the centipede, so you gotta go. So I was like holding him back with one arm while I was throwing this boot at the thing. Oh, it was crazy. I remember one of my friends, we were in the office, one of my friends saw one and he stomped it. Same thing. He was like, bam, 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 you know, just stomping on this thing. And I was like, why are you stomping it so much? He was like making sure it's dead. And I was like, all right. And I'm not from the sound, you know, I don't really like have a lot of experience with certain bugs that I'm not used to. But then it wasn't until I got one myself and I was like, okay, I understand. They don't just die. Yeah, 2 bullets confirm the kill. Exactly. Anyway, that's my story of the day. Thank you for listening. Speaking of bugs, you ever experienced earwigs? I saw one the other day outside. I was walking and there was just one on the sidewalk and I was like, ugh, because I hate those things. They're fine, they're whatever, you can kill them, but they just look awful. They look awful. They're everywhere where you live. They're everywhere in general. They just, I don't know. But I remember I had a neighbor a long time ago that had a little infestation of them in a garden, and they had like this little like tiny patch of garden. So in the city, you know, you have the sidewalk, and then in front of the sidewalk, street side, sometimes you have a tiny patch of grass that like dogs poop on. I knew somebody that turned that into a garden. They turned it into a garden, and on one side of it, they had a tiny bench. It was like, it almost was like a single seater. They had a tiny little bench there, and it was cute. And they had like, they would sit on the bench and they would weed. They'd have little, you know, vegetables growing. There was a little tree, like 1 block of grass over. So it wasn't actually grass. It was like one little planter box looking thing over on the sidewalk. So the one that was directly in front of where they lived, they had like a multi-family unit there, and they just, the guy who lived upstairs would go and he would do a garden there, and he would sit on this little bench that was like right next to the garden that he placed, and it was fine. At some point, earwigs got into it, and they were everywhere, and they loved the bench. I think they were nesting like on the underside of it. So the guy is like, he's a bit old, and he's like, I want to get rid of them, but I don't really know what to do with them. And my dad's like, I got you. And I have this memory of watching this, which is why I'll always hate earwigs. My dad takes a broom. turns it over, so he's holding it by the bottom. He's got the broom handle. He reaches the broom under that bench and he goes, boom, and he smacks the underside of it super hard. Remember, my dad is like a titan, you know, just huge. He just goes, boom. It was super loud sound. Bench almost goes flying. All the earwigs that were on the underside of it, they were encrusting it, by the way. Couldn't see it from there. They all fall. They all drop and go boom right on the ground and start scattering. My dad has this little blowtorch. Imagine the kind they use for cooking, like that size. He pulls out, he goes, and starts just cooking them, just going, and just killing all of them. And he just, yeah, rip and tear, dude. He just flamethrowered like all of them, which obviously was smaller. It was like a little blowtorch, but for a bug, that thing is huge. He just goes, and just gets so many of them. The bench was metal, thankfully. So he's able to really like kill them. And I remember just like watching it and being so disgusted by the smell of them cooking, the smell, but mostly that initial fall, because them scattering, like bugs scatter, that's what they do. That doesn't really disgust me much. Like, I know they run fast, whatever. It was the sound of them going boom and like all landing like on their backs and hitting the ground. Ugh. Because when one does it, you might not really hear it, but when it's a bunch of them, you hear it. Ugh. Anyway, he cooked them. He killed their asses. He did that and then did something to treat the little vegetable garden area. And, you know, over time, the guy didn't have any left. But Jesus Christ.